Well, there you have it, the first part of today's program, the All-America Water Ski Championship from Cypress Gardens, Florida. Here in New Brunswick, the band is playing, the crowd's getting ready to hoop it up a week before the 4th of July at the Men's National Outdoor Track and Field Championships. However, it's just a little while before the finals begin, and we'll be returning here for those. We said earlier that these trials will be leading towards the Olympic track and field trials to be held next week in New York. That's track and field, but some of the squads for America's Olympic representatives in Tokyo have already been selected. A typical example is our basketball team, which was selected a while ago. We were there at the time, and here's our report on that trial.
Okay, well,
This was the moment last Sunday when Jim Bunning made baseball history at Shea Stadium in New York. Pinch hitter John Stevenson of the Mets has struck out, and Bunning has a perfect game. The perfect game is a baseball achievement without equal. In the entire history of the Major League game, only 8 men have achieved it, and 2 of them did it under special circumstances. The first perfect game came in 1880, and remarkably, 2 of them occurred within the short space of 5 days. The second pitcher, John Ward of Providence, however, was the last National Leaguer to win a perfect game until Jim Bunning. The first American League perfect game was thrown by the great Cy Young in May of 1904, and 4 years later, Addie Joss pitched one for the Cleveland Indians. In 1917, Babe Ruth started the game as pitcher for the Red Sox. He walked the first man, then was thrown out of the game for arguing with the umpire. Ernie Shore came in and retired the next 26 men in succession. The base runner was caught out stealing. Charlie Robertson of the White Sox had one against the Tigers in 1922, and after that, no perfect game was seen for 34 years. When it did come, however, the circumstances couldn't possibly have been more dramatic. Don Larson was pitching for the Yankees in the World Series against the Dodgers. He had retired 26 men in succession when pinch hitter Dale Mitchell came to the plate. Pitching with his characteristic no wind-up delivery, Larson worked carefully, struck out Mitchell, and earned a unique place in the Baseball Hall of Fame. In 1959, Harvey Haddix of the Pirates suffered the frustration of a lifetime. He pitched perfect ball against the Braves for 12 long innings, only to lose the game in the 13th, 1-0. The achievement of Haddix appears in the record book with an asterisk alongside it. However, the simple fact remains that no National League pitcher had won a perfect game until Jim Bunning came into the 9th inning last Sunday, leading the New York Mets by a score of 6-0. Bob Murphy was describing the action for WOR-TV in New York. Through their courtesy, here is what happened on videotape.
No runs, no hits, no errors. Last of the 9th inning. It's a perfect game going for Jim Bunning. The batter is Charlie Smith. This crowd is absolutely holding its breath. High pop fly. This one is playable. The shortstop, Bobby Wine, is in foul ground. 1 out. George Altman is coming out. George Altman is coming out to bat for Amato Samuel. George, who has been handicapped by a muscle pull in his leg most of the year, but who is one of the top hitters in the National League. He has a 5-year National League batting average of .285. Real good left-hand hitter is being sent up now, and Bunning is really going to have to earn it. Here is Jim Bunning with 1 man out in the last of the 9th inning. 2 strikes to count. Struck him out. Jim Bunning is 1 out from a perfect ball game. Coming on to bat for New York, and this crowd is right on the edge of their seats. If he gets Johnny Stevenson, you'll hear the roar go up. Johnny Stevenson batting for Tommy Sturdivant. Bunning has to do it by finishing off against 2 left-hand hitters if he is to reach it. The 33-year-old right-hander from Southgate, Kentucky, looks in for his sign. 2 outs and nobody on. He's retired 26 in a row. Strike 1. Every pitch bringing a roar from the Shea Stadium crowd. To a man, they're behind Jim Bunning. They're Mets fans, but they appreciate a great performance. 1 strike to count. Strike 2. You can never possibly come any closer and not get it. Jim Bunning is now 1 strike from a perfect ball game. How do you stay cool and how do you stay poised in a spot like this? The crowd is standing. To a man, they're standing. Here's the pitch. Just missed outside, and the crowd let out an ooh and a groan. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. Just about everybody standing. Jim Bunning getting ready. Ball 2. It's 2-2. Trying to shade the outside corner with 2 curveballs. Now it's 2-2. Not only is Bunning after a no-hitter, he's after a perfect ball game. Striking out! A perfect game! A perfect game for Jim Bunning! Here come his teammates! Oh, what a happy scene for the Phillies and Jim Bunning!
Yes, that's the way it was when Jim Bunning, the 32-year-old father of 7 children, won himself the perfect Father's Day present, a perfect game. Jim, first of all, very sincere congratulations from all of us at Wide World of Sports on this tremendous achievement. Really one of the great sports thrills of the century.
Thanks very much, Jim.
Maybe we can go back a little bit to find out about this perfect game. They say that coming events cast their shadows before. What kind of a string of outs did you have in the game before this one?
None.
None?
None.
None at all?
The last batter I had faced before the game here in New York was Billy Williams in Chicago, and he hit one in the center field seat.
Ah! A home run, huh?
That's right.
So that there was no inkling of what was to come on last Sunday at Shea Stadium.
No.
Let's go to the 7th inning, say, of that ball game. Were you aware by that point that you were pitching a perfect game?
Yes, I believe so. I was aware of the no-hitter and the perfect game. You go over the hitters and you see which one comes up at the right time, and you know that you've got the guys out 1, 2, 3 in each inning. So you're aware that the no-hitter is going on. You're aware that the perfect game is being pitched.
About that time, the crowd really started to get with you. Were you aware of that fact?
Yes, they standing on each pitch, and it kind of gets you somewhere along the way. It makes it real exciting.
Looks like you got a little shiver just then thinking
Yeah.
about it. How about in the I'm sorry to say the Tigers, how about that? In the Phillies dugout, when your team was batting in the top of the 8th, let's say, did any of your teammates mention this thing, or did the old baseball superstition take over?
I think the superstition took over because none of the boys would say anything. I had to do the talking because none of those fellows would say anything to me. I would talk to each. I'd go around and hit one or pat one of the guys on the back and tell him to do this or tell him to dive at a baseball if it came close. And just carried on a conversation, trying to relax myself.
But you did bring up the subject of the no-hitter, huh?
Yes, I did.
And then came the 9th inning. You had to go out there and face, you hope, no more than 3 more men to end this ball game. I know it's difficult, but is there any way to put into words the way you feel standing out there?
Well, you'd like to get it over as soon as possible. I think I don't believe that you have any specific feeling that get the ball and throw it as soon as you can get it over and hope that they hit it at someone or hope that they miss it, one or the other.
Is there any feeling of how in the world I ever get into this tough situation?
No, I like to be in that situation every 9th inning, I believe.
Is there any physical sensation, any cold sweat or clammy palms?
No, it was so hot Sunday, I was sweating pretty freely, and there wasn't anything but excitement. I just didn't even notice how hot it was because I was so excited.
Is it any more difficult physically to throw the baseball or to try to control what you're going to do?
No, I don't believe so.
And then suddenly it was all over. Your teammates swarmed over you. Your wife was at the ball game, right?
Yes.
And as I recall, she said something about losing her sunglasses.
Yeah, she threw them up into the stands after the last out was over with, and she got a little excited, too.
Well, Jim, it has been a very interesting season for you. Last year you were in Detroit. You must have been a little bit surprised to find yourself in Philadelphia this spring, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. I anticipated getting traded last fall. I thought the Tigers were going to make some changes. They were going to get some younger ball players, and and I anticipated getting traded last winter.
Do you find the National League any tougher than the American League?
No, I think that...
You didn't last Sunday, I know, but
No.
aside from that.
No, I think that both leagues are pretty well the same. I think that the American and National League, both being the major leagues, I think that they're pretty well balanced both ways.
One final question, Jim. Do the Philadelphia Phillies have it to go all the way, to hang on through that long, hot summer and win the National League pennant?
I think that the Philadelphia Phillies got as good a chance as any team in the National League. I think we've got as good a ball club as anyone.
Okay, Jim, well, again, congratulations on that wonderful achievement last Sunday in New York.
Thank you.
Jim Bunning. Right now it's time...